have to wonder if the secret library at the Vatican, which they acknowledge exists, but is keeping a secret.
From the dawn of time, the Vatican and the Pope have always been held with a high regard, so much so that their dark truth has been kept hidden.
The Vatican archives, whenever they're going to be opened, are going to reveal extraordinary levels of details.
It wasn't until recently that some of their most terrifying secrets came to light. Let's get right to it. Exorcisms are meant to remove evil spirits from a person, which are usually done in secret, but this one may have happened right in front of the world's cameras. In 2013, at St. Peter's Square in the Vatican, Pope Francis was blessing people after Sunday Mass. When he placed his hands on a boy in a wheelchair, something strange happened. The boy started shaking, breathing hard, and froze with his mouth wide open. The moment was caught on camera, and this didn't look like a normal blessing. The Pope was performing a real exorcism, but the Vatican never gave a clear answer. Otherworldly records.
If the secret library at the Vatican, which they acknowledge exists.
Not many places in the world stir up more mystery than the Vatican's secret library. For centuries, it's been locked to outsiders, with only popes and select scholars allowed in. But what's hidden inside has sparked wild talks. One big claim is about Giordano Bruno. Some believe the Vatican locked away records showing he got messages from beings beyond this planet. And then there's the 1917 Fatima incident, when 3 children saw a strange figure and a silver disc in the sky. The church kept one of their messages sealed in that very library. If the rumors are true, that secret library might be holding proof we're not alone.
Third message apparently talks about extraterrestrial life. Now that is sensational.
Vatican leaks. In 2012, a massive leak of documents from the Vatican shocked the world. These leaked files revealed deep secrets about the inner workings of the Catholic Church. Among the most shocking details were stories of power struggles, corruption, and dangerous secrets hidden from the public. One of the most notable figures in the leak scandal was Paolo Gabriele, the Pope's own butler, who was convicted of stealing sensitive papers and passing them to journalists. These documents, known as the Vatican leaks, exposed dark truths about the church's operations. Peace Pact. After decades of tension, in 1929, the Lateran Treaty was signed between Pope Pius X and Italian Prime Minister Benito Mussolini. This agreement marked the end of a 40-year conflict, giving Vatican City its independence and restoring the Pope's sovereignty over the territory. Before this, the Catholic Church had been excluded from public life in Italy, and the Pope was not allowed to take part in peace treaties. The treaty allowed the Vatican to shelter people persecuted during World War II, especially Jews escaping Nazi rule. It not only restored the Vatican's rights, but also symbolized a new chapter in the relationship between the Vatican and Italy. Door of Hope. On Christmas Eve 2024, something powerful happened in St. Peter's Square. Pope Francis walked to a bricked-up doorway, the Holy Door, sealed shut for 20 years. With a gentle tap, the bricks fell, and the 2025 Jubilee Year of Hope began. This event only happens once every 25 years. It's a time when Catholics reflect, forgive, and begin again. Walking through the Holy Door symbolizes moving from sin to grace. Millions will visit Rome for this moment, each with their own hopes and prayers. The theme Pilgrims of Hope couldn't be more fitting in today's uncertain world. As the door opens, so does a path for healing and unity. Lucifer Chant and Prayer. A huge ceremony was held at St. Peter's Square on April 27, 2014. It was supposed to honor 2 former popes, but something unusual happened. The entire event was broadcast in 3D, HD, and even 4K, almost like they wanted the world to witness something. During the ceremony, a Latin prayer was read, but in that prayer, something shocking was said. Lucifer was praised in front of everyone, even declared as God in that holy chant. Now here's the thing, many believe Lucifer is just another name for Satan, so why was his name spoken during a church ceremony? What do you think? Secret Scrolls. Inside the quiet halls of the Vatican museums, there's a small glass case that barely gets any attention, but what's inside is something wild. 2 real fragments of the Dead Sea Scrolls. These are the same scrolls found near the Dead Sea that shocked the world. These pieces were donated in 2001 by a priest who once lived in the Middle East. One fragment might match a known scroll, but no one can figure out the other one. It doesn't belong anywhere. And that's the strange part. Why would the Vatican keep such a rare piece so secret? Maybe it came from a scroll they don't want the world to read. Vatican's Bible exhibit. This display looked like any other museum event, but it wasn't. Right next to St. Peter's Square, the Vatican held an exhibition showing 150 rare Bible-related objects. They called it a tribute to the Bible's journey, but behind the glass, something strange was going on. Hidden between scrolls and ancient books was a layered script text written in Syriac on top, but with something older underneath. Using special lighting, they revealed it was the oldest known full text in Palestinian Aramaic, the language of Jesus. Most visitors had no clue what they were looking at. Even stranger, many of these scrolls came from a private collection owned by a wealthy American family with over 44,000 religious artifacts. That's not just a Bible story, that's control over what version of history people get to see.
This story is for all people of all times, and so in that sense.
Forgotten tombs. Right beside the Vatican walls, a new gate has been unlocked, but this one doesn't lead to a chapel. It leads straight to an ancient necropolis. Until now, the Vatican only allowed scholars and select groups, but recently they opened it to the public. Visitors can now walk into a 1,000 square meter area filled with old tombs and strange symbols. This wasn't for royals or saints. This was a graveyard for Roman slaves and workers. Some of the stones even say who owned them. One name showed up again and again: Nero. The same Roman emperor was known for his cruelty. Maybe that's why the Vatican kept this city of the dead quiet for so long. Secret room.
We'll come back, pause and look at the drawings and start to do more analysis in due course.
Florence is packed with art treasures, but one hidden room beats them all. Back in 1975, museum workers found a small room beneath a chapel tied to the powerful Medici family. It had been sealed up for years. When they peeled off layers of old plaster, rough wall sketches appeared, drawings believed to be made by Michelangelo himself. Some say this was the spot where he hid in 1530 when a furious pope wanted him dead. Others claim the sketches belonged to his followers. Now, only a few lucky visitors get inside each week. Either way, this tiny room witnessed stories history never told.
And start to do more analysis in due course.
Time Machine Vault. Vatican stories have always sounded strange, but this one tops them all. Locked away in one of their secret rooms, there was a device called the Chronovisor, a machine that could show any moment from the past, like a live broadcast. The man behind this claim was Father Pellegrino Ernetti, a Benedictine monk. He said he worked with a few top scientists and built the device inside the Vatican walls. According to him, he even watched the crucifixion of Jesus through it. The Vatican quickly denied everything, but rumors spread fast. Some say they ruined the device before the world could find out. A few old photos and pages survived. Pop access. When a new pope takes charge, he's handed a set of ancient keys, not just to his private papal apartments, but to sealed rooms hidden inside the apostolic palace. These spaces are said to hold rare documents, forbidden relics, and things meant to stay buried. But when Pope Francis received those keys, he made a shocking choice. Instead of moving into the lavish papal quarters like those before him, he stayed at a plain guest house nearby. And while most popes lived among those mysteries, Francis walked away from it all. Maybe he didn't want to be part of whatever secrets are still locked behind those ancient doors. Nazi escape route. After World War II, while the world celebrated peace, thousands of Nazi officers mysteriously vanished from Europe. Recent investigations reveal the Vatican played a disturbing role in this. Pope Pius X quietly helped Nazis escape through secret church-run routes to South America. In 2020, newly opened Vatican archives exposed even darker secrets. Documents revealed Pius X held secret talks with a Nazi prince, a relative of Queen Victoria, just weeks after becoming pope. Even during the Nazi roundup of Rome's Jews in 1943, the Vatican worked only to save those baptized, while over 1,000 others were sent to Auschwitz. Vatican on aliens. A surprising statement from the Vatican's chief astronomer led to unexpected attention. While overseeing the centuries-old telescopes at the Gandolfo Castle, Father F shared his thoughts about life beyond Earth. He suggested that with so many stars and planets in the universe, alien life could exist. His words caused an uproar, challenging old views. Some question how this could fit with the Catholic faith. Though the Vatican has stayed silent, Father F remains convinced that if aliens exist, they too are creations of God. This quiet priest might have opened the door to a much bigger mystery. Powerful statue. Some artworks hold a deeper meaning, and the Statue of the Resurrection in the Vatican is a prime example. Located in the Paul VI Audience Hall, this striking statue is currently undergoing restoration, with completion expected by December 9th. Since its unveiling on October 3rd, 34 years ago, it has stood as a powerful symbol behind the Pope during his general audiences. Designed by Pericles Fazzini, the statue portrays Jesus rising from the crater of a nuclear bomb. It is 66 feet tall and 23 feet wide, crafted from red bronze and yellow brass. It serves as a reminder of hope and transformation amidst collapse. Burial Room Secrets.
Represent the Aureli.
Vatican archaeologists uncovered a 3 RD century burial room belonging to the wealthy Aurelia family. The walls were covered in old paintings showing their daily life, their big houses, and peaceful gardens. But here's where it gets interesting. These paintings also showed the quiet shift from Roman gods to early Christian symbols. It took experts 10 years to restore it carefully using lasers. Now it's only open to private visits, but what they found speaks of a time when old beliefs were fading and a new faith was quietly moving in.
Villas has shown this wall.
Forgotten Museum.
Not many people know about the Ethnological Museum at the Vatican cities.
Most people know the Vatican for its churches and famous paintings, but hidden inside Vatican City is a museum few people talk about. It's called the Missionary Ethnological Museum, created in 1926 by Pope Pius X. This place holds around 80,000 artifacts from old civilizations across Africa, Asia, and the Americas. One of the most important pieces is a statue of an ancient Mexican goddess. The museum also has old masks from Chile, warrior statues from Mississippi tribes, and Aboriginal poles made to guide spirits to paradise. Not many know this museum exists, but each piece inside carries a story from a time the world has almost forgotten.
About other cultures around the world, because the collection here is very rich.
Hidden Catacombs. Far below Rome, a forgotten world once held stories of fear and faith. The Catacombs of St. Calixtus became the final resting place for over 50 martyrs and 16 popes during the early days of Christianity. Even St. Cecilia, the patron saint of music, was buried in these dark tunnels. The most important part was the crypt of the popes, where 9 popes were laid to rest. Greek writings marked their simple graves, as it was the common language of Christians back then. These catacombs stayed hidden for centuries until Giovanni Battista de Rossi uncovered them in the 1800s. Old art mystery solved.
Important projects have never done in the last decades.
For centuries, people believed 2 lost paintings by the famous artist Raphael were hidden somewhere in the Vatican. Clues about them had appeared since the 15th century, but no one could ever find them. That changed when experts were cleaning the fresco walls inside the Vatican. As they worked, they uncovered 2 paintings that had been there all along, hiding beneath layers of artwork added after Raphael's demise. The discovery was called one of the biggest art finds in years.
The last decades, apart from the Sistine Chapel, done.
Rare treasure. The Codex Vaticanus B is a priceless treasure from the 4th century, considered the oldest complete Greek manuscript of the Old Testament. It's one of the earliest full versions of the Christian Bible and likely created in Constantinople at the end of the 8th century. This remarkable codex was once the oldest known Bible until the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls in the 1940s. It's written in uncial script with no punctuation and shows the careful work of skilled artists. Over the centuries, notes and amendments were added, and the codex was restored in the 15th century before being housed in the Vatican Library, where it still resides today. Sacrifice for love. In Rome, there's a special place called St. Valentine's Catacombs. These catacombs are only open once a year on Valentine's Day, and they are named after the famous priest and martyr, Saint Valentine. The catacombs date back to the 3rd century. Here's an interesting fact. There were actually 2 Saint Valentines. Both were martyrs who likely died during times of persecution. Some believe one of them might be buried in these catacombs. Over time, Saint Valentine became known as the patron saint of lovers, but this idea is much newer. Today, people celebrate love on Valentine's Day, but the original story of Saint Valentine was all about sacrificing for love. Mummies Unwrapped.
Potrebbe essersi mossa, però lo sai? Perché non era forse.
The Vatican Mummy Project, led by Egyptologist Alicia Mentity, focuses on restoring and preserving mummies in the Vatican's collection. Unlike most mummies, which are left untouched, this team uses scientific techniques to study and repair them. One notable project is Nema Prayer, a young woman who likely died between the ages of 25 and 30.
She died probably around 25, 30 years old.
When discovered, her body was severely damaged, especially her spine. While the team couldn't restore her rib cage, they successfully reconstructed her vertebral column. CT scans were vital in studying her embalming process and uncovering key details about her life. This project provides valuable insights into ancient diets, social status, and diseases, offering a deeper understanding of the people who lived centuries ago.
Because of these containing all these data about ancient life.
Restoring rhetoric. A recently restored vault by Renaissance artist Pinturicchio has now been opened to the public at the Vatican Museums, located in the Borgia apartment, within the Room of Liberal Arts. This stunning work showcases the personification of each art by a woman. The rhetoric painting stands out as the only one signed by the artist. Commissioned by Pope Alexander VI, the room likely served both as his office and private library, even housing his body temporarily after his passing. During restoration, experts uncovered that Pinturicchio employed the AO technique, which enabled faster drying and a texture distinct from traditional fresco methods. This technique, unique to Pinturicchio, gave his work an almost easel painting effect. Known for his work with powerful figures in Rome, Pinturicchio's legacy continues to shine in this remarkable restoration. Shroud Secrets. Some relics have puzzled the world for centuries, and the Shroud of Turin is one of them. French geophysicist T.I. Castex used special imaging tools and claims to have found ancient writing on the cloth. He sent his findings to Vatican researcher Dr. Barbara Frail, who says the words match the time of Christ. Fragments like "sentenced to death" and "Jesus the Nazarene" were found. Frail argues these words wouldn't appear in the medieval period because by then, calling Jesus just Nazarene would have been seen as offensive. She believes someone who handled Christ's body wrote them. If true, this makes the shroud one of the most remarkable objects connected to the 1st century. Face beside Jesus.
Is this John or Maria Magdalene?
The Last Supper, one of Leonardo da Vinci's most famous works, has sparked wild theories after the Da Vinci Code claimed Mary Magdalene sat beside Jesus, not John, but Milan-based expert Mario Taddei says otherwise. Back then, artists followed rules. John was always young and gentle-looking. Da Vinci kept to this so people could recognize the figures. The film also claims secret letters. An M and a V hide a deeper truth, but experts insist such shapes appear in every painting if you search long enough. Da Vinci's quiet message wasn't about codes or conspiracies. He simply painted ordinary men, and sometimes that's the most daring story of all.
It must be John, because Leonardo had to copy.
Miracle at the Altar. Rome's Basilica of Santa Maria sopra Minerva holds more than just stunning Gothic art. It guards the tomb of St. Catherine of Siena, one of the church's most powerful women. She wasn't just a saint, she was known for miraculous events too. Once during Mass, a priest lost a piece of the Eucharist. Strangely, it vanished, until he realized Catherine had received it directly from Christ himself. Eyewitnesses couldn't believe it. Her deep bond with the Eucharist was like no other, and her teachings still echo today. Some saints leave behind stories. Catherine left behind legends too strange to ignore. Cup of Christ. The Holy Grail, long a symbol of mystery, is believed by some to be hidden in Valencia, Spain, where it resides in the city's cathedral. This chalice is said to be the very one used at the Last Supper, though its journey from Jerusalem to Valencia remains unknown. Throughout history, knights and kings risked their lives to find the Grail, believing it held more than just historical significance. Some even believe it possesses a divine power. The church continues to recognize the chalice in Valencia, keeping its true story locked away as some mysteries are meant to remain unsolved. Circle symbols. The Vatican is filled with symbolic designs, and its circular motifs hold deep religious meaning. One of the most famous is the layout of St. Peter's Square, designed by Gian Lorenzo Bernini. This massive square is surrounded by a circular colonnade shaped like open arms, welcoming people from all over the world. At its heart stands an ancient Egyptian obelisk, believed to connect heaven and earth. Another important symbol is the Vatican's coat of arms, showing two crossed keys, one gold and one silver, tied together beneath the papal tiara. These keys stand for the authority passed to St. Peter and every pope after him. Together, these circular symbols reflect the church's eternal mission, unity, and powerful spiritual legacy that has lasted for centuries. Sacred stone.
Anointing table, the anointing stone, that's where they
Just inside the entrance of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem lies the Stone of Anointing, believed to be the place where Jesus' body was prepared for burial by Joseph of Arimathea. This ancient stone is surrounded by hanging lamps donated by different Christian communities, including Armenians, Greeks, Copts, and Latins. Behind it stands a striking wall with red banners, blue balconies, and a three-part mosaic. The artwork shows Jesus being taken down from the cross, anointed on the stone, and finally buried. Interestingly, the wall itself was added after an 1808 fire and now covers the old graves of 4 Crusader kings. Though no longer needed for support, it remains a powerful symbol for visitors from around the world.
The naked body of Jesus touch that stone.
Sacred portal. After 2024 ended, bizarre stories about portals started making headlines. One at the VMAs, another during the Olympics, and even a strange one in Michigan. But the creepiest of all happened on December 26th at a prison in Rome. The Vatican opened a holy sacred portal at Rebibbia prison, and it was broadcast live for the world to see. What made it worse was the announcement that for the 2025 Jubilee, the Vatican chose Lucifer as its mascot to guide the youth toward the church. When you put these strange events together, it feels like something sinister has already begun. After what happened in 2024, it seems like 2025 isn't just another year. It's a warning. Spiral Wonder. There's one staircase in Rome that leaves visitors speechless. The famous spiral staircase at the Vatican Museum, known as the Bramante staircase. It's not just one, but 2 intertwined staircases forming a double helix, much like DNA. The original was built in 1505 by Donato Bramante, designed so people and horses could go up and down without crossing paths. In 1932, architect Giuseppe Momo built a modern version, adding an iron railing and a glass ceiling that fills the spiral with soft, natural light. Tourists now walk this stunning spiral at the end of their museum visit, watching how the stairs seem to endlessly twist downward. It's more than a staircase, it's a masterpiece hiding inside one of the world's most famous museums. Secret of Fatima. In 1917, 3 children in Fatima, Portugal, claimed to see a glowing lady appear from the sky. The figure, believed to be the Virgin Mary, visited them 6 times, sharing 3 terrifying secrets. The first was a vision of hell. The second warned about war and the rise of dangerous governments. But the most mysterious was the third secret. It showed a pope in a moment of danger and hinted at evil forces creeping into the church and the world. The Vatican kept this secret hidden until 2000, saying it spoke of a past event. But many still believe parts of it were never revealed. And now, after 2024, some fear that dark part of the prophecy is finally catching up with our world. Jesus' descendants. Stories of Jesus were carefully controlled by the Vatican. But hidden records tell a very different story. These claim Jesus wasn't born in Bethlehem, but in Ethiopia. He married Mary Magdalene, had children, and was executed in Egypt. The moment he died, the Great Pyramid's white stones cracked. His sons escaped to Africa, while his daughter Sarah fled to France. Their bloodline mixed with African rulers and European nobility. Afraid of this secret, Rome launched crusades, burned records, and wiped out entire families. Some believe this ancient bloodline quietly survived, and now strange old texts and forgotten relics are starting to surface, hinting that the truth they buried might finally be rising again. True name of God. This might be the biggest religious secret ever kept. During a private Vatican event, Pope Francis announced that ancient scrolls sealed away in 463 AD would finally be unsealed. These marble-encased scrolls, hidden since the fall of Jerusalem, are said to reveal the true name of God, a name forbidden to speak for centuries. According to insiders, every pope since 468 AD has secretly known this word, passing it down through generations. The scrolls claim God told Moses, not just "I am who I am," but followed it with a final hidden name. Now millions are desperate to learn it. The church's silence only makes this ancient mystery feel even more dangerous. Evidence of reincarnation.
Oh my god, that full front end so looks like Juliana's.
Before church leaders shaped the beliefs we know today, some early Christian texts quietly spoke of something strange: the soul's return. In ancient Gnostic scriptures like the Pistis Sophia, there were clear hints that souls came back to live again in new bodies, paying for past mistakes and learning new lessons. These lost writings suggested life was a cycle, not a single journey. While modern Christianity denies reincarnation, these early followers believed the soul couldn't move on until it reached purity. It's strange how these ideas were quietly buried, like someone didn't want the world to remember. Maybe the early church hid more secrets than we realize. Actual Ark.
It's covered entirely in gold, inside and out.
One of history's biggest mysteries is the Ark of the Covenant, a sacred golden chest built by the Israelites to hold the 10 Commandments. It was once kept in King Solomon's temple in Jerusalem, but vanished after the Babylonians destroyed the city in 587 BC. Strangely, ancient records list everything taken by Babylon except the Ark. Some believe it was secretly moved before the invasion. Treasure hunter Jim Barfield claims to have decoded a copper scroll revealing its hiding place in Qumran's hills. Even stranger, some whispers claim the Vatican secretly took the Ark centuries ago and hid it beneath Vatican City. If that's true, it would mean the world's most powerful relic has been in plain sight all along, carefully kept from the public.
Are some of Israel's greatest treasures, including the Ark of the Covenant.
Angel encounters.
La voce di questo compagno.
Throughout history, many claim to have encountered angels, mysterious beings said to serve as God's messengers. One of the most compelling stories comes from Pope Francis himself. On October 2nd, 2015, during his Friday morning mass in Santa Marta, he openly spoke about guardian angels, describing them as God's ambassadors, always guiding and protecting us. According to the Pope, every person is assigned a guardian angel, and he urged Christians to listen to their angels carefully. While the Vatican has acknowledged these encounters, many reports of angelic appearances remain hidden, leaving everyone to wonder what they are truly protecting us from and why the Vatican remains silent on these divine encounters.
Dal suo aiuto.
Jesuit conspiracy. The Black Pope is the title given to the leader of the Jesuit order, known as the Superior General. While it may sound mysterious, the role is simply that of the head of one of the most influential religious orders in the Catholic Church. Founded in 1540, the Jesuits are recognized for their focus on education, missionary work, and loyalty to the Pope. Some conspiracy theories claim that the Black Pope secretly controls global events or collaborates with secret societies like the Illuminati. However, there's no concrete evidence to support these ideas. The Jesuits' primary mission is education and social justice, not global control. Is the Black Pope a hidden force or just a figure of myth? Freemason Infiltration. In 2015, during Pope Francis's visit to the Philippines, a question arose about Freemasonry's influence in a country with a large Catholic population. One Filipino bishop sought guidance from the Vatican regarding the compatibility of Freemasonry with Catholicism. The Vatican reaffirmed its stance, reminding Catholics that membership in Masonic organizations is forbidden. This stance was supported by official guidelines from the 2003 Philippine Bishops' Conference and a 1983 statement by Cardinal Ratzinger. The Vatican also encouraged catechetical programs to clarify why Freemasonry conflicts with Catholic teachings. Despite these clarifications, rumors of Freemason influence within the Vatican continue to stir debate. Spear of Destiny.
Spear of Destiny actually pierced Jesus' side.
The Spear of Destiny, also known as the Holy Lance, is a sacred relic believed to have pierced Jesus' side during his crucifixion, as described in the Gospel of John. According to tradition, the soldier who wielded the spear, named Longinus, was miraculously healed when the blood of Christ touched his eyes. This transformed the spear into a powerful symbol with divine significance. Throughout history, many rulers, including Charlemagne, sought the spear, believing it granted invincibility. Charlemagne's victory were attributed to his possession of the lance, but legend also suggests that losing it led to his downfall. Today, the spear is on display in Vienna, sparking ongoing belief in its mysterious powers and its potential to shape the fate of empires.
Believed in the power of the Spear of Destiny.
Open discussion. This viral image is circulating online, showing Pope Francis sharing a meal with an almost otherworldly creature. The unsettling photo has led to widespread discussions. The Vatican has not issued any official statement regarding the image. Pope Francis previously talked about the idea of extraterrestrial life, stating that he would baptize Martians if they desired it. The image has everyone talking about secret Vatican encounters with non-human entities, but who knows what's going on inside?